President Biden and lawmakers there in Washington are rushing to address the shortage of baby formula across the country that's getting worse by the day. The months-long shortage being attributed in part to a voluntary recall by the manufacturer Abbott Nutrition, which prompted the shutdown of a major plant. Supply chain issues, labor shortages also contributing to the problem. Abbott now looking to restart operations, but it could take up to 10 weeks, we're told, to get formula from the affected facility back onto store shelves, and parents don't have that kind of time. Overnight, the Biden administration announced new steps to tackle the crisis, and for that, we bring in Director of the White House National Economic Council, Brian Deese. Brian, thanks for taking some time this morning. We appreciate it. We were talking to Congresswoman Spanberger, who was introducing legislation and talking about how these companies operate and how that needs to change. That's all well and good, but as I said, this is a right now, today problem for parents in this country. How do you get baby formula onto shelves quickly?
Well, absolutely. It's a serious issue, and there are a set of steps that we need to take right now. First, we need to make it as easy as possible for retailers to sell the formula that they have and for consumers to buy it. About half of the formula in the United States goes through what's known as the WIC program, that in normal times has pretty strict regulations. Right now, we need to relax those regulations. Every state in the country needs to move on that right away. The second is we need to ramp up production of formula. As you mentioned, Abbott had to recall and stop, but the president was on the phone with the other major manufacturers of baby formula yesterday. Good news there. They're increasing production 30 to 50%. We need to ramp that up and also look at where we could safely import more baby formula as well. And the third thing is we need to make sure that nobody is taking advantage of the situation. We've seen some reports of people hoarding, buying, and then posting online for exorbitant prices. We need to make sure that there's none of that is happening. The authorities, state attorneys general, as well as the FTC are on that case.
So, Brian, these are all, they sound like good solutions. They'll take some time. What do you say to the mother or the father sitting at home right now and said, I've been to Walmart, I've been to CVS, I've been to every store I can think of, and I cannot find food for my baby? What's their move here?
Look, we understand how challenging this is. I'm a parent. All of us have experience with just how life and death needing to have nutrition for your child is. Right now, first and foremost, if you've got a particular challenge, you should reach out to your pediatrician, your healthcare provider. There are emergency tools, emergency issues in place, including working with Abbott, the manufacturer that you discussed, for particular specialty formulas or otherwise. And also know that the president was on the phone with major retailers yesterday, on the phone with manufacturers. We are sparing no effort and no tool in our toolbox to try to accelerate this and ramp this up. And I think that we will see some serious production increases and some relief on those shelves as a result of these actions.
Brian, what can the President of the United States do to make sure that this never happens again?
Well, beyond these immediate steps, there are some really important things that we need to look at. The structure of this market, with 3 manufacturers controlling 90% of the market, in some instances with specialty formulas, an individual company having that much control. We need to look hard at the competition issues in this market and make sure that we have more resilient supply chains. And also, you know, at the end of the day, we have to have a very high standard for safety when it comes to something as vital as baby formula. We cannot relax our safety protocols. So we need more resilience. We need more production capacity in more places so that our economy is not completely reliant on an individual facility or an individual company.
Brian, Elise Jordan here. I'm a little concerned by the way you described the state-by-state loosening of regulations and how states would have to take, action separate from the federal government. This really seems like an area where President Biden could use his power as chief executive through an executive order just to make it okay for foreign formula that is safe. Particularly, we know Canadian formula is great. We know German formula is great. There are plenty of other nations where the formula is great. To get that formula to mothers now, because when you have a screaming baby who's hungry, that is the most desperate situation you can be in as a parent. So why doesn't President Biden use his executive order authority?
Well, absolutely, and that's what you're seeing the president do. With respect to imports of formula, you saw the president indicate to this, and the FDA will be out with additional guidance on importing formula from some of the jurisdictions that you mentioned. We will act, and we will act expeditiously on that front. With respect to the states, we run the federal WIC program, and we are providing guidance to states today. The USDA is out with that guidance to urge states to all reduce these regulations. Most of them have, a few haven't, but the way that process runs in the country, what we can do out of the White House is provide clear and urgent guidance. We're urging the remaining states that haven't moved on that to do that today. We're hopeful and expectant that they will move, but there are some places where we need partnership either from states or from companies. But make no mistake, the President of the United States will use every tool at his disposal, and when it comes to imports, you're going to see the FDA on that as well.
This rightly has become a priority for the White House, with so many families counting on you right now. Director of the White House National Economic Council, Brian Deese, thanks so much. We'll check back in with you soon on this. We appreciate it.